Well, all suspects pleaded not guilty on all charges made against them, including the murder of 18 people in Ngobozana in Lusikisiki in the Eastern Cape. Now, the suspects are now facing 29 charges. 19 charges of murder with additional charges of kidnapping, robbery and conspiracy to commit murder, being in possession of illegal firearms and ammunition. The additional charges emanate from the incident that happened at Ngobozana in 2024. The alleged mastermind is representing himself, while the other accused people are represented by lawyers from legal aid. They all pleaded not guilty on all the charges. The National Prosecuting Authority spokesperson in the province says they are ready to convince the court that the suspects are guilty as charged. Now, to talk to us about the case and how far it has progressed, we are now joined by our reporter Ngobozana on the line. Ngobozana, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us and a warm welcome to the late edition. First of all, we've just we've seen all suspects have pleaded not guilty to a combined 29 charges, including 19 counts of murder. Ngobozana, let's talk about what insights you can share about the legal strategies being deployed, especially by the alleged mastermind who's choosing to represent himself.
Well, at the moment, from my observations inside the court, I doubt if he is really someone who can represent himself. But because he has that right, therefore he needs apply it, and he is eligible to it. But because of what transpired inside court, because he was not able to differentiate between the documents that were read during the court proceedings. So it is something that is very interesting and that we want to see how it will unfold during this trial. And he is adamant simply with that he will be able to represent himself. And you remember that before the judge tried to warn him on representing himself, trying to advise him that because he is not trained legally, he can take a lawyer that will be able to represent him, and who will be able to understand the language that is used inside the courtroom, who will be able to understand the documents, the language that is used in those documents. But he is adamant that he will be able to represent himself. But we will see as the trial continues. Regarding other suspects, they all pleaded not guilty, but there is a fifth suspect, the one who was arrested in King William's Town on his way to Cape Town. He pleaded not guilty, but he said everything he did, it was under duress. So as the trial continues, we want to hear as to who forced him into doing or what was he forced into doing. So it is very interesting. We are looking forward to hearing more from this suspect, because even the family member that you were speaking to, Mr. David King, was saying that at least there seems like someone is going to spill the beans and maybe they can get closure. Maybe justice will be served. So at the moment, it's just small details, because it was the first day and it was just the charges being read to them, make sure that they understand, and for them given a chance to plead on those charges, and telling us if they do have or do not have legal representatives. But more information will unfold as the trial continues.
Now, Ngobozana, we've seen the other accused that they are represented by legal aid attorneys. So has there been any indication that their defense strategies are either aligned or diverging from that of the alleged mastermind?
Not at the moment, because the only thing that was said by the lawyers was just to confirm that the way that these suspects are pleading is something that they agree on, something that they discussed. Nothing much was said by the lawyers at the moment. The only thing, new information that we learned, it was regarding the 19th charge that was added on the 18 people that were killed in Ngobozana, which is that of a politician that was killed in Ngobozana. So you remember it was 19 charges against these suspects, and after court it was 29. So the 29 charges included what had happened when the politician was killed at Ngobozana in 2024, of which there was kidnapping. We heard that these suspects took the children of the late politician Lusikisiki, and they tied them with a rope and took their bank card, took a car. So the additional charges include what had transpired at Ngobozana, which is kidnapping, robbery, being in possession of illegal firearms and ammunition, and stealing of that car that was stolen, and a conspiracy to murder. So the only information at the moment, as I'm saying, it was the first day of the trial, of which we only expected them to plead on the charges to see if witnesses will take a stand. And regarding the witnesses, we spoke to the NPA, and they told us that they have a very strong case. They are very certain that what these accused people are charged with is something that really they did. They're not just making speculations. They're not just assuming, but they are confident with the evidence that they have. So they have witnesses saying that there's more than 80 witnesses, of which they saying they're not going to use all of them, but as the trial unfolds, they will see who they can use, but they're very sure about their case against these suspects.
And we certainly here wait to see whether there are any ties between the Ngobozana and the Ngobozana incidents, whether there is one common link that ties them all together. But thank you so much for joining us, Ngobozana.
Thank you, Sinclair.
All right, the 2024 Lusikisiki shootings occurred on the 28th of September last year outside the two houses in the town of Lusikisiki in the Eastern Cape, and gunmen opened fire at the lawn of two houses while 19 people were attending a family event, fatally shooting 17 people in the head and injuring and hospitalizing 6 others. And in one of the homes, nobody survived. Our reporter Ngobozana just gave us the latest as the trial began in earnest today.